today we're going to be giving our review of Captain Marvel, aka I remember the 90s,
aka how Nick Fury loses an eye,
aka cats get creepier,
the alternate Katy Perry fireworks music video,
aka girl power,
girl power, weak direction.
Ooh,
last time you'll ever see Blockbuster,
retired pilot flies perfectly through small spaces. That's too long.
Remember when we were best friends? Let's go with that.
Hey,
Top Gun with women,
I'm done with this segment.
aka John's done with this segment.
Welcome to BearyVaried. Today we're going to be talking about Captain Marvel. We're a little bit late to the game on this one, and that's kind of relevant to what I'm going to say about the film. If it were a lot of other Marvel movies, I would have been there on opening night. But the reaction was so, and not even bad, just so, and it was quickly becoming a film that's like on the, oh yeah, you know, eventually get to it, like, yeah, you gotta see it at some point. It's gonna have some kind of Easter eggs, a post-credit scene, whatever in it. I knew I would see it, but I didn't feel the urgency. No shit, the new Endgame trailer that showed Captain Marvel in it at the very end made the urgency, because that's coming out in like a month. So we went to go see it, and I gotta say, not the best Marvel movie ever, but definitely not as meh as I thought it would be. I was pleasantly surprised. I think that, like, I went in the rare occasion it's a Marvel movie and you have very low expectations. This is not Infinity War, right? I was expecting trash. A lot of people said they were going to beat you over the head with the 90s nostalgia. Remember berries? I'm an 80s baby. I remember. The feminist, like, you know, whatever. To me, I don't care. I don't feel like, oh, girl power's in a movie. I don't need to go tuck in my shell and go to a safe space. So, like, I wasn't worried about that. Just as long as it's done with, like anything with some weight and substance behind it. In that regard, there are a few parts that tread the line. The Gwen Stefani song in that one scene probably is the worst of it. But otherwise, I was really digging it, man. I'd heard Brie Larson was terrible. I don't think she was. I think that it's just like, it's tricky. It's going to require seeing Endgame to really be able to fully assess this film. And the reason I say that is because you can't tell if she's disconnected from the character or if it really is her being like, I don't know where the hell I'm standing right now. Where did I come from? Who are you? What's happening? Am I alien? Am I human? Am I all that stuff? In that regard, I can't imagine a way you'd be otherwise in that scenario. So it's tough to say. But now that she's figured all that shit out, if it's not improved in Endgame, then I'm like, okay, yeah, she's just a bad Captain Marvel. Have you ever met Russian people? I love you guys, but also you guys are kind of intimidating as shit at first. But you gotta kind of acclimate to the sense of dry humor.
What intimidation?
And like the difference in like sense of humor, sensibilities only makes sense. Someone from galaxies away, like there's gonna be even more. You know, I think that the effects were pretty good. I like what they did with Nick Fury. The anti-aging tech in it it's really crazy. Like I literally never once in the whole film consciously thought, oh my gosh, they're using like anti-aging, even though I knew it going in. That's how subtle it was. So that was cool. I know a lot of people are saying their gripe with this film is that, you know, Kevin Feige pumped up that Captain Marvel is single-handedly the most powerful hero in the MCU, and they don't feel like that this film really showed us why. Iron Man can do a lot of the things she can do, whatever, but at the same time, she can do it without a suit, without any technology. It's just her, and she can turn it on, turn it off, destroy an entire ship by just flying through it in the first like hour of her truly having full access to all of her abilities. So you can only imagine it's going to get crazier in Endgame, and I'm about 99.9% sure that it will. And then we'll have like the full appreciation for why she's the most powerful character in the MCU.
Sort of like one of my few gripes is that she like inexplicably just like learns how to use these new powers and abilities, like just like on the spot. It's just like, oh, I can fly now.
And that's a perfect segue into like my final point for the movie, which is I had a blast with Aquaman a few months ago. Obviously, you go into this movie, it's a fun movie. This is not even trying to be an Oscar contender. Shut your brain off for a second and just go with the flow, willing suspension of disbelief, and you're gonna have a blast. This is like a smarter movie in a lot of ways than Aquaman, for sure. But at the end of the day, I would definitely recommend it. Like, it was a lot of fun. Is it the best MCU movie? No. Is it the 9th best MCU movie? No. But it's like must read material before Endgame. And it didn't feel like a slog. It didn't feel like oh, I gotta get through this to get to Endgame watching it. So yeah, I think it's pretty good.
My take on Captain Marvel was I can understand some of the criticisms it received, but personally I enjoyed it. I'm not usually one to harp on the negative things in movies, which like some people with Star Wars, they'll tear it down, but I just usually walk away with the things that I enjoyed. I did mention something to Jonathan about, I did find it kind of strange how quickly she learned how to use her powers. Once she was free, I guess. Other than that, I really enjoyed it. It was fun from beginning to end. Not really a lot of, I guess, downtime in the story. They kind of keep you on your toes, and I guess there's so much they had to cram in to the movie, like at such a quick pace, that there's always something new that you're trying to process, but it doesn't really overwhelm you. For the time that they had to cram it in before Endgame, I think they did well with it. And I think Brie Larson, whenever you see her interact with certain characters, like I feel like she fits in. So I don't think there's going to be any problem with that going forward with her character, because I believe she's signed on for quite a few more movies.
Longer than Thor and Iron Man, that's for sure.
Yeah. Oh no. That scares me. Samuel L. Jackson did great in the movie, the supporting cast. Jude Law was sort of an odd pick for me, but in the end, I did enjoy him. I think at the end of the story, where they leave off with him, it leaves me interested to see what they'll do with his character. Because we still know that Ronan's out there, and who knows if he'll show up again. There's still some loose ends. I think that the future Captain Marvel movies can tie those up, but I'm excited to see what they do with it. And personally, as I think most people really enjoyed, was Goose. That was a highlight of the movie.
Goose!
He stole some of the spotlight, I believe. And he was a very good kitty. And he's got some monster coughing up of hairballs. Just
yeah,
weird.
Entire
He's got some
Infinity
monster.
Stones.
He's got some monster other things too.
Oh, that sounds suspect.
Tentacles.
He's not a anti-gravity cat. Yeah, whatever. But anyways, that's my take on Captain Marvel. I would urge everybody to go see it. I mean, you know, I'm sure that everybody will take something different away and probably disagree with me on a lot of this, but it's very enjoyable, and I enjoyed the whole movie. So go see it.
I'm gonna be a negative Nancy. There's so many ways that you can judge a movie, and so it's so hard to figure out how to review this.
But it's not good though.
It's not good though. Here's the thing. You can judge a movie based on whether it is well directed, or if the lighting is good, and the like music, and the what's the word I'm looking for music? That's the proper term.
Okay. Score.
Dang
it.
So you can base it on that. Then you can base it on, did I enjoy this movie? Did it move me? Was it nostalgic? That kind of stuff. And then you can base it on just how did it hit you? So I think I'm gonna go with the third option, because take that away from me, internet. It's how I feel. This movie just meh. It wasn't great. Star Wars, that got a lot of flack. Episode 8.
Yes. Or to say The Last Jedi, everyone on an instinctual level will react in some way, positive or negative.
Yes.
It was okay.
So it was okay though, and that's why I'm making this point, because that movie, the way that it hit me was, I like this movie. This movie, numerous times throughout the movie, I was just like, okay. It was just okay. And I think for me, one of the main things in movies, a connection. I don't think I'll go back and watch this. I don't understand the whole best friend situation where she gave you what their relationship was instead of utilizing the flashbacks to actually experience that friendship.
Yeah.
I
Show
don't
us, don't tell us.
Exactly. Who else can we talk about here? There's so many examples, but I can't think of any of them because I have no connection. I don't remember most of the people in this movie except for the big names because I know the actors. Jude Law, for example. Weak ass villain. Weak villain. He was and then Ronan, we knew where his character was going to be heading. So that already takes away from his old arc. On top of that, we saw like just a little bit of him, so it was really just there so we could go, oh, him! I remember him. His makeup's a little different. Cool.
Contacts this time.
He hadn't had a butt whooping put on him yet.
That was definitely a huge laugh in the movie that I took a lot of joy from. Where he's like doing the whole big speech and then she just like boom, flicks him like a fly. That was hilarious.
Jude Law, same situation. Like I saw his character arc from a mile away. It had no true development where and what real relationship they really have. They spoke about him being the one that saved her life. I didn't feel the loyalty, I didn't feel the betrayal, I didn't feel any of that could have been utilized in that movie to make it a little bit better. Honestly, the biggest character bond I felt was between Samuel L. Jackson and Goose. That tells you a lot because cats don't give up.
They're flirting.
They're gonna have a buddy cop movie though, Fury and Deuce.
Are they?
Yeah.
That's something I would watch. In one way, it was a must-see movie, but by no means is it a I will have to see this again movie. And that's really sad and disappointing, and I don't like to be negative, but it's honestly how I feel. I think that I am definitely looking forward to Endgame. I was definitely wanting to see this movie because Marvel and it's part of the story, but it is like the most boring chapter of the book. Special effects and all that was great. Her actual powers, really powerful, but because there was no connection, I can't feel like she's powerful. I don't feel it. With Thor, for example, for the longest time I was like, why do people feel like he's a super powerful dude? And then they built his character. They had way longer to do it, but when he had his moment, freaking hammer, and he jumped up into the sky, lightning in his eyes, you feel it so much more. She had the eyes, and she had the bright lights, and she had the bashing through things, and it was like, oh, cool effect, rather than, wow, she's awesome.
Ooh, the hate is strong with this one.
It's so strong, I'm so sorry. It is what it is, man, and I don't actually regret seeing it. It's a weird feeling to like not enjoy a movie, but also not be mad about going to spend the time to watch it.
So like your whole point is the whole movie is just like, oh, she can wreck stuff really good.
Kind of. I guess she doesn't really know who she is. But I feel like even when characters don't really know who they are, the audience gets to figure out who they are. She didn't know who she was. We didn't know who she was. Nobody really knew who she was except for a memory of who she was. And we got told that instead of learning it.
She's still working it out. She had a side part through the whole movie, and then in the end credits, she had a middle part.
She's just working the hair. That's it.
Thanks for bearing with us for our review of Captain Marvel. Until next time, we gonna hit pause. Be sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, at BearyVaried.